us, a cannabis brand is something that has real street clout.
Weed crosses a lot of cultural boundaries and it brings a lot of different people together.
You guys are just running so many good genetics from so many different big names.
They impress me, man, all day, and you know, what else can I say?
This is a big culture and it's far and wide, it's everywhere.
We don't follow a trend, we set trends.
So we're here in Miami-Dade County. Really not a place that you think of as maybe growing the best cannabis in the world. You know, maybe in the past a lot of cannabis was moving through the waters from the south, but this is a relatively new cannabis market. And there's this company called the Flowery that's taken some of the best genetics from around the world, worked with some of the best cannabis growers and brands, and put them all under one roof. There's like a Floridian culture that is imbued throughout this facility and the people that work within it. You know, our team is really getting into this Miami vibe. Time to head inside.
By the way, if this kind of deep dive is your thing, subscribing helps keep it in your feed, and it really supports us too. Since we don't get ad dollars from YouTube for cannabis content, every subscriber helps us keep making more of these episodes.
My name is Elad Cohen. I am the founder and CEO of the Flowery.
You guys have created one of the most unique cannabis companies we've ever seen. What exactly was the inspiration for creating the brand and the company, the Flowery?
A lot of the big corporations in cannabis are like run by people that don't really smoke or don't really understand the culture. And we are very focused on doing something for us, doing something for the culture. We are building this company for the consumer. We are building this experience for the consumer. Everything that we do, that's the hero in our story. This is a big culture and it's far and wide, it's everywhere. You know, if you look at the plant and the plant's journey, through like history into popular culture, and then the black market side of it, which is extremely important to the evolution of cannabis. We tried to like capture all of it. The best cannabis growers were these underground black market growers. They've been doing it the longest, had the best genetics, knew the plant better than anybody else. We really looked at them as like they're the pioneers instead of back to like basic indoor, single stacked, HPS, you know, like take what these really good growers in the black market world did and just build a facility that's designed around their standard and their processes, which then attracted a lot of the brands that work exclusively with us, which we believe are also the best representation of cannabis culture.
So I'm with the dynamic duo here in the Propagation Room where I want to chat about genetics. Jack, can you please introduce yourself? What do you do here?
I'm the propagation supervisor for the Flowery.
My name's Santo, and I am the nursery supervisor for 710 here.
You guys are just running so many good genetics from so many different big names in the cannabis industry. Like Jack, how many different production genetics do you guys have at this facility?
I mean, we just did a count on our genetics just the other day. We're right around 190, just shy of 200 strains total in our library at the moment, and it's growing by the day almost.
And that 190, I mean, that's like Flowery side.
That's just Flowery side. It's not even incorporating the 710 too.
And how many genetics are you guys running production at 710?
We're running about 100 different cultivars on our side. So definitely a lot, not quite like them, but we definitely have our hands full with what we've got, for sure.
Can you give me an example of some of the hot strains that you guys have that are exclusive to you?
Probably our hottest right now at the moment. We just got it not too long ago, our Blue Lobster from the Main Tree guys. Very exclusive cut at the moment. It is a beautiful plant to look at. It's a beautiful plant to smoke as well too. Not that many people have it at the moment. We have the original Chem D that we've been holding on to from a really good source.
Honestly, you guys just have so much complexity here. Like tell me, like what is it like popping seeds, and like since you guys have some of the best genetics. Like, how do you go from a seed to something actually making it to production?
Well, like the whole process makes me feel like a kid in a candy store, honestly. I just get so excited. It takes one seed to change the whole genetic industry. So it's like, you never know what you're gonna pop. About every 6 weeks, we'll pop around roughly 150 seeds. We'll take those 150 seeds over the course of 6 weeks, they'll grow out. We'll get some cuts going to flower. After that first run, it's gotta really meet a high standard. That's gotta check every box, but sometimes out of that 150, we'll keep maybe 4 to 6 phenos and we'll rerun those in a second time.
So Santo, like, how do you guys clone here at the Flowery?
All of our clones are going to come off of our beautiful, healthy moms. We keep those moms for a certain amount of time where they're in a nice, warm, humid environment, so that when they get cut, we're going to bring them into the clone room with a similar warm, humid environment. We'll take our cuttings off our mom, we'll give the clones a little dunk, we'll pre-soak our cubes, we'll charge them, and then once they're ready to be stuck, we'll drain the water out of our trays, and then we'll stick each clone into the rock wool sheets.
So Jack, are you guys exclusively using stone wool here?
Yeah, so we've been using stone wool since the beginning. We did for an intermission try using peat moss products, but we did realize that the Grodan sheets just were working for us so much better. We've been using the AOK's 1.5 inch, 50 count stone wool sheets, and it's consistently just been really well for us. Honestly, like, we don't see ourselves changing anymore. It's just been consistently and it's working well for us. I'm really happy with the Grodan at the moment.
Chad, so you work for Grodan. What do you do for them?
So I've been working for Grodan for about 5 years now. My title is crop specialist.
So the Flowery is a facility that's only using Grodan stone wool, and the facility is primarily really running stone wool in general. What do you guys do in terms of working with a facility like this to help them make sure that they're growing a top quality cannabis product?
Kind of for an example, in the event we wanted to start a trial with a customer, we would basically go in, look at what they're doing, look at their infrastructure, make sure they have everything they need in order to succeed when utilizing stone wool substrate. So obviously looking at the flow rate of their emitters, the substrate they're currently using, just other things in the infrastructure, making sure that they're able to apply the amount of irrigation events we require when using our product. And then from there, we'll basically create a strategy to get them on our product. So normally what I'll do is I'll look at what they were using before, and I'll try and find a product that is very, very similar to that.
Well, let's even like talk about this facility. They're using the Grodan Hugo 6x6x6 block. What are some of the best practices for someone who's growing in stone wool with that block?
Absolutely. So I always tell my customers initial saturation is very important. You need to make sure that you're initially saturating the blocks correctly, getting them to field capacity, because what that allows you to do is have a very even starting line. So when you do put your clone in there, everything is going to be taking off at the same time. The drybacks are going to be the same. In the event you don't initially saturate evenly, the second you put that plant in there, it will create a compounding effect to where you'll start to see more variance. So I always tell my customers, be very careful, have as many checkpoints to where you can verify that everything is being done correctly, because it will allow you to create an opportunity to have uniformity and maintain it throughout the entire crop.
Chad, appreciate all the knowledge on Grodan.
Anytime.
The story of the Flowery immediately appealed to me, you know what I'm saying? And understanding how people that have the same mindset collectively can collaborate to get something done. It wasn't a business thing, it was more so like, hey, like, your friend, he looked like he smoked.
We've been talking about doing a strain for years. It finally came to fruition. He's got a chain that says 40 OG. I'm like, come on, what are we gonna reinvent the wheel? Let's call it 40 OG.
For us, the cannabis brand is something that has real street clout. It really started with 710 Labs, which is a huge contributor to what the Flowery is. Pax, formerly known as Packwoods. Anthony is old school heavyweight. Preferred Gardens. David Pauly is an absolute legend.
Damn! Fuck Flowery, finally, I'm back, baby.
These guys are not fucking around.
Wizard Trees, Scott and his crew.
I'm the Wizard. Probably one of the most impressive grows, if not the most impressive grows I've been to.
We have Doja. Ryan is probably one of the best connoisseurs out there.
One of the top genetic IPs in the industry right now at his spot. 2024 in some of these markets that are dominated by these strains that may just be like a trend, you know. We don't follow trends, we set trends.
Backpack Boyz have been probably the biggest underground, most imitated brand in the world.
My name is Juan Casada. I'm one of the many moving parts of Backpack Boyz. If you know, you know. These guys know what they're doing.
Sherbinsky Goddard is really the first guy to find the gelato.
Playing around in my garage, and we made a strain called gelato, and it changed the world.
Josh D is like, he's the man, right? He found the first OG Kush strain.
This is the best representation I've seen of OG Kush. They impressed me, man, all day, and you know, what else can I say?
Runts is another one. It's like, if you look through, like, we talked about music, like how many songs that were on the top, like, you know, Billboard charts that have the name Runts in them, and how many genetics do we smoke today that has Runts as part of it.
You said you were even here as one of the first licenses in Florida when it was first getting off the ground. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Florida has been a super unique market ever since the beginning. To my understanding, it's still the only market that has essentially unlimited licenses. Every license in Florida, you can grow as much as you want and you can sell as much as you want. It's also a really interesting market. Initially started as a Charlotte's Web initiative in 2014. Legislators got ahead of the curve after a supermajority vote was very clearly on the horizon. They legalized a low THC-based oil-only market. In 2017-ish, we started allowing smoking as an acceptable form or use of medical cannabis in Florida, and that's really when the floodgates started opening up. It's the world's largest medical market. We have just under 1 million active patients right now. Everyone and their mother expected Florida to go recreational last November, and the initiative failed. A lot of our competition was vested deeply in that.
Is your irrigation clogging from your silica additive? Well, not anymore. VPS Commercial Silicone uses silica nanoparticles, ultra pure, stable, and instantly available to your plants. The newest technology and nutrient formulation has helped bring this product to life, offering growers the optimal solution for fertigation, clean irrigation systems, and foliar silica applications. Unlike conventional silica products, VPS Commercial Silicone does not cause precipitates or clog drip lines. The silicone nanoparticles go straight to work, strengthening cell walls, boosting vigor and yield, and defending against biotic and abiotic stress. And it's ultra concentrated. Just 1 gallon can treat over 9,000 gallons of nutrient solution. High tech, low dose, no hassle. VPS Commercial Silicone. Clean inputs for high output growers. Available at GrowersHouse.com. Link in the description below. So Brian, we're finally here at the Flowery. Florida is cranking.
Yep.
And let's tell people a little bit about what your role is here.
So I'm the VP of production. You know, I oversee all production from cultivation, you know, pretty much to the final packaging.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, most people out here on the East Coast, they actually came from California or Washington, Oregon, Colorado, but you were growing, you know, from day one, kind of here in South Florida.
Basically Central Florida, a little north of here. And I started growing in 2003. And back then, the laws, they weren't as punitive towards people cultivating. Right around 2005, they changed the laws. Mandatory minimums went from, like, you know, a slap on the wrist, basically, for 15 or more plants to full-on 15 years in jail for like 5 plants, you know.
And it sounded like you lived a little bit of a double life here in Florida.
Yeah. I had a real job and I had my black market job, you know, if you were to say. But yeah.
So Brian, I mean, not only are these guys, your collaborators, sending you, you know, and sharing genetics, but you guys are also collaborating and seeing where those genetics can go by popping seeds here, sending them back. It's like, you know, a bilateral trade agreement. And then, you know, tell us a little bit about that, because you said 12,000 seeds.
Yeah, we've gone through like roughly 12,000. I have right here another like 500 or so that'll be, these are for runts basically, but Nick sent us these. So what we do is we run, roughly 8% of our canopy is just for R&D. We'll plant, 100 seed batches of a strain or a cross, right? We'll do multiple runs, document it. It's all a very, very tight schedule. We find something out of those 100 seeds that we like. We love the number 29 gash tree. We got to go back and actually make sure we have the 29.
Right on. Well, a lot of the viewers of CannaCribs are cannabis cultivation nerds. Like, what kind of methods, techniques, products do you guys use here at the Flowery?
We have a lot of different strains. Luckily, every flower room has, basically, I can send 1 of 3 recipes to every table. So like in this room, you'll look around, there's a unique strain on each table. They're all attached to, substrate monitors. These are all gelatos. We're gonna irrigate them this way. We try and keep strains that like the light intensity together. So like we run a lot of the OGs and the chems together, whereas the gelatos and the cakes and stuff like that will kind of go in a different room. I think the biggest thing that we really do is we focus on our mechanicals. We really worry about which units are turning on in the room at which times, and then develop strategies off of that, kind of going back and looking at your data.
Got it. Well, coming into this room, it's like these days, man, I see LEDs almost everywhere, and I came in and I was like, 1,000-watt Gavita DE lights.
Yeah.
Bringing me back. Is that something that you guys just really like leaning on?
Yeah. We feel like, we have a checkerboarded room that's the 1,000-watt Gavita lights. We really do just love how the high-pressure sodium performs. The flower structure is just so much nicer. The outcomes are much more in line with just what we believe to be our interpretation of good flower. So naturally, as we've kind of, moved to LEDs, particular in our veg space, where we use their 1900E and their 1700E, and then in our mom rooms we use their 1930E fixtures. They're great LED fixtures. So those 1930Es have really helped get that plant health up.
For sure. And how many lights do you have in here?
This light's 102.
102,000
This room has 102 lights.
When it comes to the nutrients, what is the EC that you're feeding them? And you mentioned
we feed it about an EC of 2.5 to 2.7. We run a higher dissolved oxygen. Some people would probably run a bit of a higher EC in a grow like this.
Around what percent is that dissolved oxygen?
It's right, in the beginning of the day, it's probably close to 38, 40 milligrams a liter, or 35, I think. And then it gets down to the mid 30s to the high 20s.
Well, let's even talk about HVAC, because this room is, when you have this many 1,000-watt HPS lights, you got to be very mindful with HVAC loads, airflow, hotspots, things like that. So tell me a little bit about how you guys handle HVAC and airflow.
This room has basically 3 units that are controlling the air. We use the Patterson 26-inch fans. I love those things just because they're on a VFD, right? And we're able to really dial in the canopy, airflow.
And by the way, VFD, for those people who don't know.
Variable frequency drive. Yeah. So all it means is that you can control the speed of the fans by a 0 to 10 volt, controls. They work great for us. There's 4 26-inch fans in here and then 2 18-inch. They're all connected to the same VFD that's controlled by GroweLink. So I can control, set a set point at night or set a set point at daytime, and really our strategy is to get, a good flow in the room, and you can feel it when it's happening. You'll be in the middle of the canopy and you can kind of feel it moving around you, or you can be on the edges and you can feel it. Working with the folks down at Patterson has been great. They have a specific cannabis division that will create airflow design layouts to help you dial in the ideal location for each fan in your rooms.
So coming from the greenhouse side of cultivation too, it looks like, you guys pulled in some of that equipment as well, right?
So we use next-gen tables. We were at a grow and we ran into, a next-gen setup, and I was like, wow, these are really nice tables. The way that they're trellised and the way the trellis is set up in them is it's just very ideal for workflow. They're very sturdy. They're almost, I don't think you could ever really, you'd have to work hard to break them, I think, They were very easy to set up, which is often the case. The gluing was very straightforward, and the assembly was just a lot easier than any other bench setup that we've really encountered.
I mean, Brian, you guys are in kind of the homestead area of, South Florida, which is like agricultural South Florida. So there's probably like pests everywhere. How do you keep those pests and like this place clean, being surrounded by, orchards?
It's something else. We use a lot of biological control agents, mites, you name it. We use the road beetles a lot. And then we just have we focus on a very clean facility. We're using the ProGuard units. They're producing oxidizing agent that is safer than ozone, right? Ozone's very caustic, whereas the ProGuard produces a hydrogen peroxide gas. Basically just attaches onto and oxidizes any organic molecules in the air. But it's not strong enough to impact the flower quality. And we were very much skeptical of this technology in the beginning, and it took a lot of A/B testing, for us to trust it. And it really does not impact, the outcome of the flower. If anything, it's helping you because it's fighting any kind of biological, pathogens that you can't even see. The ProGuard will continue in the room after we are done with our, IPM program. After week 3, we don't touch these plants, but the ProGuard stays in the room and just continues to work at keeping the air clean while the plants are doing their thing.
Brian, thanks for showing us how you do flower at the Flowery.
Winwood is probably one of the coolest places in the world. It's really a neighborhood that had a vision to bring a lot of the biggest street artists in the world and legitimize them. You used to spray paint on a building and get arrested. Now here in Winwood, you are not allowed to build a new building without having murals on them. So it completely flipped the narrative. Many people don't even understand our icon is like an upside cannabis leaf because we said, okay, we're gonna flip the narrative on cannabis. Winwood is a big part of who we are, our connection to the street art scene.
But you guys are also commissioning artists and collaborating with artists, and that's seen everywhere.
We really look at this as a platform to elevate these artists if they have a strong connection to the plant, that's very important to us. Dustin has been a huge part of curating all of that.
I'm the creative director of the Flowery. I've been, is it 5 years now?
What's your guys' creative process? What's your inspiration that brings about everything that's going on?
I'm like a sponge when I go down there to the farm. I love seeing the guys and just hearing that they say and the stuff that they write on their whiteboards and the inside jokes and the slanguage that they bust out. It's just, it feels like a whole world that's a microcosm of it's the same as our customers, our patients, customers, they are just like the people that work on our farm. Weed crosses a lot of cultural boundaries and it brings a lot of different people together. We're not selling weed, we're selling fun, part of the idea to me is medicine is healing, laughing helps you heal, weed helps you laugh. It's a medicine, and short and sweet and fun.
The Flowery, legal cannabis directly to the forehead. The Flowery, legal cannabis directly to the forehead.
We sort of speak our language, people that, understand it, hear it, and, and then they catch on to it and they share it. And so there's kind of a kinetic quality to the whole thing when you're moving off authenticity. And I think we try to do that a lot. This is one of my roles is to say, no, don't do that. We have to be real. I love AI and I love the weirdness of it all, but we can't fake it, we can't fake it unless it's obviously fake or it's something that's so out there that people would know why we're doing it. The authenticity thing is very, very important to me, and because I just think we can smell it. We can smell our own. We can smell bull corporate language, people trying to act like they're something that they're not.
Randy, the Macho Man Savage, we'd be proud of you.
Oh yeah.
So Bart, you kind of lead this whole room.
Yes, yeah. I'm the trim manager here at the Flowery.
As I understand it, it's not like when you got into the cannabis industry, it was your first time trimming weed.
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't. My grandma, she used to grow weed back in the day, so I kind of grew up in that. Yeah, this is actually her on my shirt here, doing her thing. So
look at that.
She's definitely the reason I'm here.
I mean, man, you probably know how to trim a nug or two, you know?
Yeah, I love trimming, and trimming's my thing.
You're a dying breed, you know, in the world of machine trimmers.
Oh no, man.
Well, I mean, your team is just like crushing it behind us the whole time. We came in here and they were jamming to music. You know, the vibes were good.
I mean, the team is awesome. We have such a diverse team, like all ages, from all nationalities. It's cool because we keep the music pumping all day long with different genres. Everyone kind of just vibes. And then we also have like coffee breaks.
You know, I had like 3 shots of cafecito right before.
It's basically Cuban espresso. The best, to me, the best coffee there is.
Yeah.
And I'm zinging.
Yeah, me too. Same.
Yeah.
Keeps us going.
No, that's funny. And this whole team is powered off Cuban cafecito.
Off Cuban coffee and good weed.
Tell me about like, how do you guys do trimming here at the Flowery?
So here we take a quality focused approach to trimming. We use a technique called lollipopping, where basically we grab each branch, cut it right above the node, which creates a handle. That avoids like overhandling, you know, touching too much of the hairs, removing trichomes with your gloves. What we try to do is just take off all the undesirable parts of the plant, like fan leaf, crow's feet, and just leave desirable parts, sugar leaves, the hairs, and you know, leave the original shape of the plant intact.
So have you guys ever used machines to trim? Try that stuff out?
Nope, we really haven't here, thank God.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you guys got a lot of people back here trimming. I mean, how many people we got going here?
We have over 40 trimmers here, 6 leads. Having so many hand trimmers kind of doubles as also like a QC team.
Well, since you're, you know, a trimming artisan, aficionado, can you give us some tips of like what you guys really go for? Some tips for the people trimming at home?
So like using the tips of the scissors essentially is like the most important part. You know, you want to be really accurate with your cuts. A lot of times you use the side of the scissor, you're just going to shave off like hairs and shape the bud and give it like that machine trimmed look. And changing your gloves, you know, a hash sticks of course to your fingers and will accumulate on there. So leaving all that on the bud is really what you want.
So Bart, like who, you know, like dries and cures the weed around here?
That's Trent. Trent is the curing wizard out here.
Wizard?
Yes.
Well, let's go meet Gandalf.
All right, let's do it.
How the hell we got here? Why exactly do they call you the wizard?
I mean, I personally think it's looks, but no. It's just a name that someone gave to me. Wizards are pretty serious dudes. I'll take it as a compliment.
So how long you been playing around with cannabis?
Since the 90s, early 90s, man.
Yeah.
So
whereabouts?
I love it. Colorado. Colorado's where I'm originally from.
Yeah. Well, how do you know, dry and cure, you know, that many different strains well?
It's tricky. I mean, you have to pay attention along the way. You have to like look at densenesses, structures. We're just allowed to pay attention to details here, and I think that's what makes a huge difference. So each strain, if it needs to go just a little bit longer dry, we can pull it off. Same with on the cure side. That's one thing we do a little different, I think, is we get our product, like we dry it, then we hand it off to trim, and trims it, like sizes it up, sorts it, and then hands it back to cure where we get to finish it. We're lucky that way, man. There's a lot of places that just like, you know, when it feels ready, it's time to go, put it to the market, but I always feel like everything needs just a little bit more love.
For sure. I mean, drying and curing, I mean, like in Florida, here at the Flowery, like what do you keep your environment at in this dry room and then subsequently in your cure room?
Yeah, so there's always like those standard numbers and we're kind of in those, you know what I mean? It's like 60 to 65 on temperature, and then your humidity can range anywhere from 50 to 60 depending on what you're looking for. Cannabis is funny. I feel like if you're stuck around that 55%, it won't do anything, but sometimes there's a little life left in there that you need to get out. So like if your condition isn't slightly down, then it's never really gonna do anything. So like in our world, I like to have it just a little bit drier to get to where I need, and then it's a handoff to packaging.
Well, Trent the Wizard, I feel smarter coming out of this conversation.
It's time for this episode's rebate rundown. If you use grow equipment such as LED lights, HVAC systems, or dehumidifiers, there's a good chance you qualify for a rebate, and Green Rebates is who you call. They're the largest rebate firm focused solely on horticulture, helping growers claim millions in cash through state energy programs. In some states, there are even rebates for saving on water usage and opting for equipment that lessens the impact to your local power grid. Upgrading your equipment equals free money. Head to greenrebates.com and see what your facility qualifies for. So Joey, what's your role here at the Flowery?
Primarily just managing and running the 3 different processing departments.
Well, I mean, how'd you get your start like in extraction?
You know, smoked flower in high school, and when I went off to get my bachelor's, I kind of discovered what hash oil was. A few buddies of mine and I started a company our senior year and ended up moving to Denver, Colorado, you know, working out there for about 3 years.
Well, I mean, like, what's unique about the Flowery team and I guess the facility that you have here for doing extraction?
Sure. I mean, one of the most unique things when it comes to processing is that this facility was designed and built with all of this in mind from the ground up. You know, a lot of other facilities are focused primarily on the flower, and you know, the processing is kind of an afterthought. We already knew we had a partnership with 710 locked in, and so we knew the extraction side of this business was something very important.
Tell us some of the products that you guys are like cranking out of this facility.
Yeah, so we've got a brand new line of cured resin products that we're just now coming out with, but our heavy hitters are always going to be our 710 solventless hash, as well as, you know, our solvent-based live resin products. You know, a lot of care is put into the extraction process on both the solvent and solventless side, and so those terpene profiles really show that true essence that the plant had. And
so for a lot of people that maybe shop or buy products from the Flowery in flower form, can they usually find, you know, some of those same ones in a kind of live, you know, type form that's an extract?
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, if you're buying 710 flower, you're most likely also going to be able to find those strains in a derivative form. If you're buying Flowery branded strain, you're going to be able to find those in a live resin form as well.
For people who are maybe not familiar with the 710 brand, like,
sure,
what is unique about 710 and their products?
710 is very meticulous in what they choose to put on the market. They seek out strains that they not only they enjoy, but they know their customers are going to like. They're not going to put out something that is subpar either. You know, 710 is all about bringing exotic flavors that people know and love to the table.
The 710 number is specifically unique because...
So yeah, 710 upside down backwards spells oil. You know, 420 has always been ubiquitous with just cannabis smoking. 710 is sort of the dabber's version of 420.
Well, tell me some of the favorite products that you have, both coming out of, you know, the solvent side of the lab and maybe some of the really cool ones out of the solventless side.
Sure. So out of the solvent lab, you know, we've got a really cool new product called Flan. So it's essentially a 3.5 gram bucket of live batter. Naturally, when you cold cure live batter, you get a separation of terpenes and cannabinoids. So we've packaged that in its natural state, and it almost looks like a slice of flan. Solventless side, we've got Neapolitan, which is a mixture of 3 different formats. So you'll either have a batter, sauce, and bubble hash, or you'll have a batter, sauce, batter. That's a really cool one, really popular. People are really digging it.
What kind of equipment are you guys using in here to end up extracting all this cannabis?
The real, you know, show pony is our Busy Bee system on the hydrocarbon extraction side. The Busy Bee is inside of this booth that you guys see here. It's designed by Podtronics. So they designed C1D1, C1D2 booths. Super simple for us to put together. I mean, we did it in half a day. They actually come out too and help once we got everything, you know, put together. The exhaust system is very reactive, so there's sensors inside that detect leaks. You know, it shoots off an alarm as well as increases the fan speed. This system is designed to be as safe as you can be for your technicians. You know, you're not operating with high pressures. You're operating under 60 Celsius the whole time. The camera system in there is also, it's in an explosion-proof case. This thing came, you know, UL listed and certified with engineers on their side before even getting to us, and so getting it through approval on the state side with our state regulators was pretty easy.
A lot of people don't know you need basically a explosion-proof chamber so that they can eat a gummy.
Yeah, I mean, extracting with hydrocarbon gases is something that you don't think of as being inherently dangerous, but it definitely is.
Well, Joey, this lab is dope. Let's play around with some extraction equipment.
Let's do it, man.
I have a giant facility to go film, so I'm gonna leave my father-in-law Doug with you, Isaac. You guys play around with some edibles. How about that?
We interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you What the Doug, a special segment hosted by Nate's actual father-in-law who wandered into the grow and never left. Nate's still trying to impress him, so we gave him a show.
You know, over at Old Folks Rec, for us, joint pain is when we can't find the joint. You know, where'd I put that?
Hey, Dad, welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome to Chocolate Day.
Wow, looks good.
Yeah, it is. Basically what we're doing now, we're tempering the chocolate that we will be able to put it into the molds.
So if you get the munchies, you eat some of this,
and you get some,
more munchies. Nice.
That's the idea.
Where do you learn how to do this?
Basically, that's what I do for the last 20 years. I'm a pastry chef and a baker. Worked many years in Paris and in Italy. 2 years ago, I went into this world to the cannabis products. It's something that I wanted to do always, to create the best confection that you can create with THC.
So how many milligrams are in that entire bucket that you're cooking up there?
Approximately 5,000 or 4,800 milligrams.
Wow.
You want a spoon of it?
Yeah.
Basically, after we temper the chocolate, we're gonna put the quantity that we need for each cube, that everything will be homogenic.
Looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Smells delicious.
Yeah, it smells good, it tastes good. Makes you high, makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Basically, it's gonna take it like for 1 hour to sit. We're gonna set, we're gonna demold it, then it's gonna look like that.
Well, Isaac, thank you very much for showing me the kitchen and all this very exciting edibles and gummies and chocolate, which I love.
Enjoy.
See you later.
Thank you.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
What's your name?
Anthony.
Anthony. So Anthony, what do you do here at the Flowery?
I'm a hand roller.
So do you actually roll the...
Yeah, everything's done by hand. The tips, everything.
So when you're finished, what does it look like?
It's either a 2-gram joint, 2.5. We have 7-grammers now, and we're gonna bring in 4 grams soon.
Wow, that's quite a split.
Quite a lineup.
Yeah. You know, me as a senior citizen now, my early morning routine is I wake, bake, and maybe a little shake.
That's the only way to do it.
I kind of think of like what the Flowery did in Florida as a little bit of like a lightning in a bottle, you know, type of thing where it's like the people have created something that it truly does have a very strong following. You guys have a hard time selling what I would call like value cannabis.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting problem. We're lucky to have it. We're super hyper quality focused. We're a very plant-centric company. We are very intentional about everything we do. The way we grow the plant, to the way we handle it, to the way we package it. The Flowery is predominantly a flower business. Flower makes up for 70% of our P-mix and our revenue mix. We fetch a high price per gram. For the 16 years I've been in cannabis, I always used to say the top 3 questions at the bud bar were, what's the best deal you got? Can I get a discount? And where are the gummies? And the Flowery is not that at all. They want the 7-gram hand rolls. They want the 40 OG 4-gram hand roll. They want the half ounce of Josh D. They want the baller bucket of 710. We are moving into a new, smaller grow facility right down the street from here. We're gonna go from the 2,000 bloom light facility that we have here, add another 400 lights with that facility. Our partner, 710 Labs, is one of the rooms is going to be dedicated to living soil. We have plans of having 18 stores by the end of this year. Our master site plan here essentially allows us to double our canopy size on this 10 acres. We're planning on having around 80,000 feet of bloom canopy on this campus. Quest has been an amazing partner for us. If you look around this facility, we have a ton of them. They're everywhere. When we need to get a new one, they've just always been Johnny on the spot for us. So we're super excited to be using the new Quest 746 model over in the new grow, and we're excited to put them to work.
This is really just the beginning for us. The vision was always like far and wide. So we started in New York, feel like New York's cannabis culture is one of the most important ones, and it's a new market. We don't want to expand in a way that doesn't serve the DNA of the brand and the DNA of the movement. And Florida is like big. Florida is really just getting started, you know, like it's still a medical market here, and we're excited to just put our head down and keep doing what we do in Florida. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Intense. And mission. Like, I don't take that lightly.
Oh yeah. Don't you, right? I'm gonna get on before you. sorry.
Obviously, the person who does creative stuff, because you're a creative, wacky, kind of weird dude.
Batteries. Microwave. Pizza's done.
It's always funny when people come into the prop room and they think, oh yeah, I'm just gonna grab some cuts. Oh wait, CannaCribs is filming it. Whoops. Didn't expect that this morning.
Oh, the Flowery, brother. You like terpenes? Oh yeah.